down 84% in 2022. Is Lucid stock a buy for 2023? I'm going to answer that question before the end of this video. I'm going to use several different metrics to determine that, so let's get right into it. The first thing I'm going to look at is Lucid's revenue growth, and you can see a sharp rise in Lucid's revenue as it's ramped up production from January this year is really when it shot up, and now it's up to, in its most recent quarter, 195 million. And if you're not aware, Lucid, of course, is an electric vehicle maker. Luxury cars, right near 100, upwards of $200,000, and the cars are absolutely beautiful, I have to say. One of the nicer looking cars, if in the electric vehicle space. So it's generating robust customer demand, and that's the case with all most electric vehicle makers is customer demand is there. It's a matter of can they ramp up production efficiently enough to serve that customer demand. So that's another thing I'm going to look at here. The next metric looks at that. How are they ramping up production? Are they delivering economies in scale? And are they approaching profitability? And that's not the case with Lucid. As you see here, operating income declining and getting worse as they're producing more. So they haven't reached the level yet where they're achieving economies in scale, where as revenue is growing, the losses are shrinking and approaching profitability. That's not the case yet. 687 million lost in its most recent quarter on revenue of 195 million. That's not good news for investors. The next metric I'm going to look at is Lucid's cash from operations. And again, similar to its operating income, its cash from operations is just going straight downward. 569 million lost in its most recent quarter. And this is troubling for Lucid. And I'm going to show you why. It only has, the next slide here shows that it only has 1.26 billion in cash on the balance sheet. So it lost 569 million in its most recent quarter. It only has 1.2 billion. You could see here it only has a couple of quarters of cash left on its balance sheet. Now I know it's got some powerful backers that would be willing to put more money into the company, but that's not good news for anyone if the investors need to keep injecting capital into the business as it ramps up and revenue is growing. It's still not delivering any economies in scale. So not good news here in terms of economies in scale, cash from operations, or operating profitability. The last thing I'm going to look at is valuation, and what I have here is Lucid's price to sales ratio compared to some legacy automakers, Toyota, GM, and Ford. Now remember, all of those legacy automakers are ramping up production of electric vehicles themselves, right? So they can do electric vehicles. They're not forced to do internal combustion engine vehicles, right? So they can do what the EV companies are doing. And arguably, they might be able to do it even better because they have decades of experience in manufacturing and producing vehicles in large quantities, right? Something that these newer automakers do not have, right? Lucid, Neo, Rivian. I can mention a few more that they're just now starting up. They don't have those decades of experience in manufacturing. Meanwhile, look at the valuation difference. Lucid is trading at a price to sales of 27.5 compared to 0.69 for Toyota, 0.3 for GM, and 0.296 for Ford. So these are legacy automakers, and the EV automaker Lucid is trading at 27.5 times. Now, admittedly, these older car companies are not growing revenue as fast as Lucid is. I give you that. And so, yes, Lucid does, in my opinion, deserve to sell at a premium valuation compared to these legacy automakers. But a price to sales of more than 27 times more than all of the other automakers is a bit much, in my opinion. It's too much of a premium to pay for Lucid stock. So even though the stock is down considerably in 2022, I would say the stock is still not a buy for 2023. I would caution investors to be prudent, wait for a further decline in the stock price, wait for further evidence of economies in scale before you consider purchasing this stock. All right, so that's all I've got for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.